Senior got their first win last week against Lexington. They look to go for 2 in a row here in Ashland. It's the Arrows and the Tigers next.
Shakely Mechanical, fully qualified to help you select the best HVAC or plumbing system to fit your budget. Need AC or heating repair service? Living in North Central Ohio, Shakely's is your go-to since 1995. Exceptional service, exceptional products. Look up shakeleysmechanical.com today.
Why are all these people so happy? Because they just got their business online with TMS Plus Digital Marketing. Get online with essential digital marketing services for local businesses. And feel like they do. No hype, just results. That's TMS Plus.
Since 1974, Simonson has helped their clients stay on target to meet the goals and deadlines for their projects. From concept to completion, Simonson can design a plan and build a path for success. Let Simonson Construction turn that vision into a reality.
With over 35 years of building experience, Prestige Kitchen Creations is ready to create a breathtaking new kitchen for you to enjoy with friends and family. They make your vision a reality. Visit prestigekitchencreations.com today.
Two cities fueled by local businesses. Two cities dedicated to hard, honest work. Two cities with rich history. Two cities who wear their school pride on their sleeves. When the two cities step on the field, all that matters is the score when the clock hits 0. Ashland. Mansfield. Here we go.
Football season from Community Stadium in Ashland as the Ashland Arrows host the Tigers of Mansfield Senior. I am Brian Harder along with Bruce Wyrick, and we've got a pretty good matchup here in week 4. The Tigers of Mansfield Senior finally got their first win last week at home against Lexington. They're looking for 2 in a row, but they've got a pretty tough road to hoe tonight as they're in Ashland to take on the undefeated Arrows.
You're right there, Brian, and I'll tell you one thing we're going to find out is how much senior high has improved. You know, it's been a shortened season. Everybody's been, a little behind the ball. Now, this is third week. They got 3 weeks under their belt. What have the Tigers put together for this week? How much have they improved? One of the toughest things to get to improve is an offensive line. Senior high lost all their offensive line players. Now they got to develop that offensive line. They've had 3 weeks to do it, 4 practice, weeks, and let's see what the Tigers have done now.
Last week they defeated Lexington 42-6 at Arlen Field for their first win of the season. Brock Hill completed 16 of 27 passes for 270 yards and 3 touchdowns. Miles Bradley caught 5 passes for 121 yards and recovered a fumble. Avion Gross added 5 catches for 84 yards and 2 scores. And the Tigers managed only 54 yards on the ground, which, as you look at Tiger teams over the last several years, that balance has to improve if they're going to win.
Yeah, and it takes time, and it's not going to gel overnight. When you lose as many players as senior high did last year, you've got to basically rebuild everything from the ground up. You don't even come back in with the same game plan. You don't run your same offense. You know you got a young team. You know you got to take your time. You got to develop those players. And this year, where everybody's into the playoff, there's no rush. Take your time, develop it properly, get it ready to go, and be ready for the playoffs.
Now, for last week for Ashland, they defeated Madison 45-7 to go to 3-0. Declan Moore completed 22 of 30 passes for 286 yards. He threw 4 touchdown passes. Now, that might sound like the Arrows of old, but this team is a lot more balanced than the Arrow teams under Scott Valentine.
And that's what you need now. Defenses are taking away passes from it. You got to be able to run the ball. When a defense takes something away, you've got to be able to go the other way.
Sean Putt has it teed up for the Tigers. Mansfield Senior won the opening coin toss. They deferred to the second half, so they're going to kick off to the Arrows to start this matchup here in Week 4. And we are underway here in Ashland. A squib kick down to the 25-yard line. It's going to be returned by Chase Dillow, and he gets up almost to the 48-yard line. The offensive starters for the Ashland Arrows, as we said, undefeated coming into this Week 4 matchup. The quarterback is Declan Rohr, and he is a good one. The running back is Ethan Hartley. The receivers, Johnny Metzger, Trey Boyd, Braylon Hyder, and Landon McFedrick. And up front, it's Beaver, Hanna, Blessing, Colbert, and Garish.
You take a look at that team out there. Look at that offensive line. They got a big offensive line.
Rohr out of the gun. Ball's on the ground, and Hartley is able to fall on it. We saw the defensive starters for the Tigers. Let's bring that slate up once again, taking a look at the defense for Mansfield Senior. They're led up front by Carmelo Smith, Ricky Mills, Malachi Mays, and Mecky Bradley. The linebackers, Darnell Hawkins and Seth Miller. The nose is M.R. Davis. The defensive backfield, Bradley Duncan, Bradley, and Avion Gross. Loss of about 5 on the play. Rohr swings it out to Hartley. Hartley coming up the near side, gets running room across midfield, knocked out of bounds at about the 47-yard line. So that makes it a little bit more manageable here, as they now have a 3rd down and about 6. They'll spot it actually at the 47. That'll make it 3rd down and 4. They'll split 2 receivers to each side. Declan Rohr in his first year as the starter at quarterback. They'll send a 3rd receiver now wide to the left. That's Hartley coming back into the backfield. And there's movement on the line. They're going to draw the Tigers off, as it looked like on that right side, Amazion Robertson was a little anxious to get into the backfield.
And, Brian, that's one thing you don't want to give this Ashland team is yardage without them doing anything on the snap of the ball. They also gave them a 1st down.
They'll stay in the same formation. They'll give it to Hartley. Hartley down across the 30 to the 28-yard line. Miles Bradley came up to make the play. Of course, one of the sons of Chokey Bradley, who is on this roster for the Tigers. Gain of 9. It'll be 2nd down and 1. Now they'll send the 3 receivers to the right side. Hartley lines up as a slot on the left. They stay on the ground. It's Hartley again. Flag comes flying in as Hartley is down at the 31-yard line.
That's a holding penalty on Ashland. And, you know, these are the things that the coaches, you got to work your way out of. Your team has got to mature enough to stop the penalties. We saw Clear Fork kill themselves one night, you know, because of penalties. Last week we saw another team have a lot of penalties and hurt them, but they still won the game. You got to be able to overcome it. And to be in the mid-season, these are the penalties that you have to stop.
Well, in this whole season, and we've talked a lot during the first 3 games about the coronavirus and the shortened schedule and everything else, and how important are these regular season games. And Roar looks to go to the air. Ball knocked out of bounds.
You know, it's early in the game. Mistakes are being made. The teams are going to come together and try and pull them, you know, get their stuff going in the right direction here. But you got to start looking at that senior high defense. Is that defense going to be able to shut down the run? Is Ashland going to be able to throw the ball if they can't run the ball? But as I look right now, they're doing a nice job running the ball.
Keontae Bradley, as you see right there, was on coverage of that pass play. 3rd down and 11. They stay on the ground. That's Hartley. Gets to the 40. Makai Bradley in on the stop for the Tigers, and it's going to force a 4th and long for the Arrows, and it's kind of in that no man's land there. It's like the offense going to stay on the field on 4th and 9.
I think the coach has enough confidence in this team right now. He's seen them play. He knows what they can do.
Well, now looks like he's going to bring the punt team out as Isaac Roop.
And you got to have a lot of respect for senior high defense. You line up, you're not going to run the ball. You want to put senior high in the hole a little bit, let them work out of it.
Avion Gross back to receive for the Tigers. It's a nice kick, angled to the near side of the field, and it goes out of bounds inside the 5-yard line. What a kick.
And that's exactly why Coach did that. You have confidence in your punter. You put senior high in a hole. Senior high's having some trouble running the football. If you can shut down the pass, you might be able to get the ball back in good position.
The offensive starters for Mansfield Senior, they are led by quarterback Brock Hill. The running backs are Darnell Hawkins and Albie Gross. Up front, it's Crawley, Bradley, Aaron Wade, William Meadows, and Jordan Lutens. And the receivers, that's supposed to be the Mansfield Senior offensive. There we go. Bradley, Gross, and Keontae Bradley are the rest of the offensive starters. We'll look at the Ashland defense after this play.
One of the nice things is the specialty game. So many fans and coaches, they overlooked at how important that specialty is. That was a big play.
Brock Hill takes the first snap. Ball is loose. And that should be a safety. They're going to say it's going to be Mansfield Senior ball inside the 1-yard line. They're going to say the progress was just shy of the 1-yard line. Mansfield Senior gets a break there, but they're still in a big hole.
And it's going to be hard to dig out of this against this Ashland defense.
Hill just pushes ahead into the pile. Let's take a look at the defensive starters for the Ashland Arrows. The defensive tackles are Garish and Schuster, the nose guard Jake Beaver, the linebackers Jones, Beverly, Hyder, and Metzger, and the corners Colin Rohr and Tommy Carpenter, and the safeties Schmitz and McFedrick.
And the Tigers just need a little breathing room. They're working their offensive line tight.
Hill's going to look to throw. Throws it up, and it's going to be caught by Miles Bradley, but still, let's see. Looks like he's going to have enough progress for the first down. So that was a gutsy call by Choki Bradley out of your own end zone. And the Tigers are going to get a fresh set of downs. 8:34 to go in the opening quarter. Mansfield Senior with their first drive of the game. It started inside the 5-yard line. And they have a 1st and 10 now at their 13. Hill out of the shotgun. Little jet sweep to the near side. That's Avion Gross, and they do a nice job of trying to key on Avion Gross as Caden Schmitz comes up and makes the play.
And one thing we've talked about in these games here, senior high's not panicking right now. They're not doing anything out of the ordinary. They're running their base offense. They threw the ball, got a nice play on it, and now they're running it.
5-yard pickup. Be second down. They'll bunch receivers now to that right side. Hill looks to throw, and it's picked off at the 25-yard line. So the first turnover of the ball game, an interception, and the Arrows have the ball deep in Mansfield senior territory.
And that's where that punt, to bring it back, to put senior high in the hole, they got to throw the ball to get out, and it's picked off.
It's the third interception of the season thrown by Brock Hill. And it is going to give Ashland the football in Mansfield senior territory at the 26. Trips now to the right out of the bottom of your picture there. Direct snap to Hartley, though, and he's going to run it. Still on his feet. Bounces inside the 10, the 5, touchdown Ashland. 26-yard touchdown run by Ethan Hartley. And the Arrows able to take advantage of the Tiger turnover.
And I'll tell you, one thing that happened there was that offensive line of Ashland. Those blockers came off. They opened up the seam. They maintained their blocks. I don't think anybody touched them down the field, Ryan.
Isaac Roop on to attempt the extra point. And the kick is going to be no good. So Ashland will have to settle for a 6-0 lead. 7:37 to go in the opening quarter.
Bounces inside the 10, the 5, touchdown Ashland.
By Hartley.
And one of the things that really happened is they split the quarterback out. This was kind of like a wildcat formation. Senior high had to move some people around. Boom, opened up the middle of the defense, and off he is gone.
So Mansfield Senior should get pretty good field position here to start their second drive of the game.
And one of the things senior high's got to do, they got to get some field position. They got to get a little consistency now. They got to make something happen from there, and they need to put first downs together. It'd be nice to get a couple first downs, get the ball rolling in your direction.
Ashland, of course, led by Sean Cedar in his second season as the head coach.
Senior high does not want Ashland getting on a roll. They want to keep the momentum out of them because this could get ugly real fast, and senior high's got to help control their offense, move the ball, put together some first downs. Don't panic. Don't throw the ball away.
Arrows are currently in a first-place tie in the OCC with Worcester. Worcester at 3-0, Ashland at 2-0. Then West Holmes at 2-1, Mansfield Senior and Mount Vernon 1-1, Lexington and Madison 0-3. So an important game in the OCC race. Of course, Mansfield Senior will host Worcester next week at Arlen Field. Gross from the 20. And he goes out of bounds at about the 33-yard line. So the Tigers will start with better field position than they started their first drive inside the 5-yard line.
From the 20.
If you notice on that kick there, Ashland has a lot of respect for the speed of senior high. Instead of kicking it deep to him, they're squib kicking it, trying to put the receiver in the ends or on the sidelines a little bit. You don't want those gentlemen getting loose in the open field.
Avion Gross is the playmaker for the Tigers, and Ashland's going to do everything they can to keep the ball out of his hands. That's Albrecht Gross with the carry, and he's punched at about the 35-yard line, a pickup of about 3.
And you notice how quick the defense covered that play? Ashland is moving to the ball. Their defense looks like it's where it should be in midseason form.
Schuster came up to make the play for Ashland. 2nd down and 7 from the 36. After the high that Mansfield senior football was enjoying last year, they've struggled so far out of the gate in 2020, getting their first win last week, and there's a fumble. Mansfield senior with arguably their best season ever in 2019, which ended with a heartbreaking 14-7 loss in the Division III state title game to Trotwood Madison. The Tigers had a flair for the dramatic last year, Bruce, if you remember. They had 3 straight playoff games going into overtime.
And I was there at a couple of them, and the old hearts are ticking away. It's like the cardiac kids from the Cleveland Browns.
They were 13-2, and they were the toast of Richland County along with Lucas. 2020 has been a lot different, though, for the Tigers. They lost a lot of talent off that team. Their Hill taking off and still has some running room as he is thrown down at the 48-yard line by Braden Hyder.
Off that team, their Hill taking off and still has some running room. As he
there was just a lot of magic around that team last year. And then this year you've got a lot of rebuilding to do, especially on that front line.
You can take a look at Ashland. They've got 3 down linemen. They're putting eight players in coverage here. That's the respect they have for the speed of Mansfield Senior High.
Well, and the Tigers have been unable to run the ball this year, which has been something that Jokey Bradley would really like to see straighten out as the season goes on. A flag is down. That's Nakari Verdon taking the ball up across the 50 down to the 48, but let's see if it's going to stand. It's going to be a procedure call against Mansfield Senior.
And those are the type of mistakes that as a coach you just stand there and shake your head because you work on that in practice. You know, you run that motion. You can't turn upfield too soon. Don't move too quick.
Mansfield Senior 13-2 a year ago. Division III state runners up. And you talk about a team that they found ways to win in the postseason. And in that state title game, they ran out of magic. Hill out of the shotgun. He's going to run. Actually, it's still Nakari Verdon at quarterback.
He's going to run. Actually, it's still Nakari.
It looks like Senior High is just trying to put pieces of the puzzle together to see what works for them. Moving people around, checking out the quarterback, see if we can't get a little bit more momentum with this young man at quarterback. They have got to get the running game going.
Brock Hill now back behind center. Second down and 9. 4:47 to go in the first quarter, Ashland with a 6-0 lead. Hill's going to run it. And he has stood up at the 46. Ran right into the right side of that Arrow defensive front.
And one thing you got to look at, they came out last series through the interception, cost them 6 points. Chokey seems to be running the ball a little bit more here. Get a little bit of confidence in this offense. Move the ball. They're over the 50-yard line. They're starting to put first downs together. This is what the team has to do.
Albrecht Gross is the tailback standing behind Brock Hill. Gross is going to get the call, and he is going to be stuffed. He runs right into the teeth of that Ashland defense, and it's going to be 4th down.
Gross.
And this is a big call for Senior High right now.
And he is going to be stuffed. He runs right into the teeth.
2 yards ago. Ashland opted to punt the ball, put Senior High in the hole. They had a great punt. Ball goes out inside the 5. Now let's see what Senior High pulls off here.
Well, Hill stays up closer to the line of scrimmage. And it looks like they're going to go for it here, and they're perhaps going to try to draw Ashland offside. Hill's going to run it, but I think it's going to be a procedure call against Mansfield Senior.
Timeout was called.
Oh, a timeout taken by the Tigers. 3:14 to go in the first quarter. Ashland with a 6-0 lead thanks to a 26-yard touchdown run by Ethan Hartley. Ashland missed the extra point. Brian Harder, Bruce Wyrick from Ashland's Community Stadium, where you've spent some time in this neck of the woods.
Oh, I've done a lot over at this stadium. When I was in high school, Mansfield Senior, the class of 72, we played football here against Ashland Arrows, and we were on this field. When I became a coach at Ontario, I came over here and scrimmaged Bob Quackenbush's great football teams. When I was at Ohio Northern, I came here and I played Ashland University, Coach Martinelli. When I coached at Ashland University, believe it or not, I was right up here in the press box. You have good memories and bad. One of my worst high school games ever was against Ashland over here. They had a noseman named Rocky Martin, and the young man kind of handed me my lunch. And then I had one of my best games over here. They had a noseman, Jim Yockey, in college, and I was able to handle him here. The next year at Northern was a different story, but I have some good memories here.
Jokey Bradley trying to instill some confidence in his young team as they come back out onto the field on a 4th and 2.
And this is a gutsy call for the Tigers.
5 receivers in the formation. Hill out of the gun. Ten seconds to go, and now Hill's going to drop back and kick it. So there's not going to be a return, and it's going to take an Ashland bounce at about the 14-yard line. So the Arrows will take over with a 6-0 lead.
And that was a nice punt. Nice punt. Tigers, you come up, you're doing everything you can to get yardage. Try to pull that front 3 off on Ashland. They're well-disciplined. They held their ground. He had to punt the ball. They're inside the 15-yard line. Let's see what the Tiger defense can do.
So Sean Cedar and the Ashland Arrows, as we said, Cedar in his 2nd season taking over for Scott Valentine, and these are not your dad's Ashland Arrows. Remember the teams of Scott Valentine, they threw the ball all over the place. This team is a lot more balanced. There's Hartley. Still on his feet, finally falls forward to about the 26-yard line. In on the stop for Mansfield Senior, Dakarian Mitchell.
Still on his feet, finally.
And one thing I really like is how the offensive line of Ashland's maintaining their blocks downfield.
Quickly back to the line of scrimmage. Rohr rolls to his left. It's caught. That's Hyder. And he's going to be close to a first down. Let's see where they spot the ball. Looks like it's going to be at about the 33-yard line, so a couple of yards shy. 2nd down and 3. This year's Arrow team averages 197 yards through the air and 198 yards on the ground. That's balance. Declan Rohr kept the ball that time, and he's got a first down for the Arrows. Rohr not afraid to take off and run the football. He's the 2nd leading rusher on this team.
And it is nice how Ashland is spreading it out. They're throwing the ball a little bit. They're running the ball. The offensive line is really establishing the line of scrimmage right now, opening up the seams.
Well, and that's been a trademark, really, of Ashland football for the last several years, is being able to dominate up front. There you see a loss on the play as I start to brag on the offensive line. Nice job of penetration by Amazion Robertson, who he just got back into the fold for Mansfield Senior after missing last year with a knee injury.
Senior high needs a big play on defense right now. They need one of those up front guys or a linebacker to make a big play.
Second down and 12. Rohr swings it this side. The nice catch finally hauled in by Jaden Jones, and he gets up close to the 45. Dakarian Mitchell coming up to make the play for the Tigers. 3rd down and 3. Rohr looks to his left. It's complete again to Hyder, and that's another first down as the Arrows are getting closer to midfield. 1:33 to go in the first quarter. Ashland with a 6-0 lead.
And one thing you notice, Ashland's starting to pick the tempo up a little bit. They're keeping Senior High's defense off balance.
Roar on the slant. Again, it's Hyder, and he's down at the 40. Keontae Bradley makes the stop, but it's another first down for Ashland. And don't look now, Bruce, but the Arrows are marching right down the field.
Like I said, they're starting to get that rhythm to their offense. Everything's starting to click for them. They're hitting the outs, they're hitting the corner routes, and they still got a running attack.
See a lot of similarities with this offense to the way it was run with Scott Valentine. Tigers do a decent job against the run there. Jones with the carry. Mekhi Bradley makes the play.
With this up-tempoed offense that Ashland's running, it is so difficult for a defense to establish anything. As a defensive coordinator, you start to pull your hair out. Things move so fast. You can't make adjustments. You can't get personnel changes around. It's even hard to call a different defense.
Under a minute to go now in the first quarter. Hartley with another carry. He's brought down at the 35-yard line.
And as we sit up here, Ashland's not doing anything fancy. They're running the same plays over and over. Very few plays, but they're very good at what they're doing.
Ricky Mills made the stop for the Tigers. 3rd down and 5. It's like they're going to take their time and let the clock wind down. There's 10 seconds to go in the opening quarter. And this will be the final play, and it's going to be a sack by the Tigers. That's Tashandre Hall. And that is going to be the final play of the first quarter. Mansfield Senior trails the Arrows 6-0. You're watching high school football live and free exclusively on the OH Report.
By the Tigers.
With over 35 years of building experience, Prestige Kitchen Creations is ready to create a breathtaking new kitchen for you to enjoy with friends and family. They make your vision a reality. Visit prestigekitchencreations.com today.
Need AC or heating repair service? Living in North Central Ohio, Shakely's is your go-to since 1995. Exceptional service, exceptional products. Look up shakeleysmechanical.com today.
Since 1974, Simonson has helped their clients stay on target to meet the goals and deadlines for their projects. From concept to completion, Simonson can design a plan and build a path for success. Let Simonson Construction turn that vision into a reality.
Why are all these people so happy? Because they just got their business online with TMS Plus Digital Marketing. No hype, just results. That's TMS Plus.
Ashland with a 6-0 lead as we head to the second quarter. The Arrows with a 4th and 13 at the Tiger 43-yard line, thanks to a big defensive play that ended the first quarter. And a quick timeout here is going to be taken by the Ashland Arrows. And, okay, you were a coach, so you just had a change of possession, or not a change of possession, but the end of the quarter. Why take a timeout then to start the second quarter?
Well, something's not meshed right. You might have had a player out of position. You might even had the wrong play. Sometimes as a coach you think it's third down, then you look over and see it's fourth down, and you go, timeout, I got to get this squared away. Or are we going to try pull senior high off? Now, that big sack that senior high had, that was a big, big play. And he blitzed an outside linebacker, made the big sack. And senior high's got to keep playing like that. Every once in a while they got to throw a wrinkle at Ashland, because if Ashland gets into a groove, they'll just eat you alive.
While the offense for Mansfield Senior kind of feels its way and tries to figure things out, it's going to be up to their defense to keep them in ball games.
And that big play that they made. Now, before Ashland came out, they're ready to run a play. I think the coach thought it was third down. Now it's fourth down. We're going to punt and see if we can't keep senior high in the hole.
Avion Gross back to receive the kick at the 10-yard line. Haas will kick it from inside the 45. It's going to be a short kick, and again, as you said, they stay away from Avion Gross. It's going to take an Ashland roll down to the 11. Tonight's high school football broadcast is brought to you live and free on the OH Report thanks to our generous sponsors, Prestige Kitchen Creations, Time Money Saver, Shackley Mechanical, and Simonson Construction.
And what's nice is Ashland's specialty teams, their punt team, is keeping senior high in the hole. And again, senior high's starting inside the 15-yard line. They're struggling with their run game, and it's a great call by the Ashland staff. They're relying upon their defense to make the plays.
Brock Hill back at the quarterback position for the Tigers. Low snap. Hill going to roll to his right. Now it's almost picked off, and that would have been dangerous had that one been picked off. Jaden Jones had it in his hands, and he had the end zone right in front of him. Unfortunately for the Tigers, it falls to the ground.
And one of the things you'll notice, Ashland's only rushing three people. They're putting everybody else in coverage. So you got 8 gentlemen running to the football. And when senior high rolls out, that shortens their field. They can only throw to the rollout side.
Tigers now facing a 2nd and 10 from their 12. Again, a low snap. Hill comes up. It's caught. Turning upfield is Amar Davis, but it's going to be short of the first down.
And senior high's just trying to get something going, anything going. They're having trouble with their run game. They're throwing the short outs. They're rolling the quarterback out to get him away from the rush. Chokey Bradley's trying to pull everything out, make it as easy as possible for this offense.
3rd and 4. There's movement on the line. The arrows are pointing to the Tigers. The Tigers are pointing to the arrows. But this looks like it's going to go against Mansfield Senior.
And as I stated earlier, this is a coach's worst nightmare. You're giving yardage to the opposing team, and the clock's not moving, and they didn't have to work for it. So you lost 5 yards there.
Well, and it's deep in your own end. So 3rd down and 4 becomes 3rd down and 9. And the line of scrimmage becomes the 13. Hill looks, sets, caught. That's Bradley, and he's got first down yardage up to the 24-yard line. That was a nice throw and catch between Hill and Bradley.
And it was. He found the open seam, and the nice thing is the quarterback had time to throw the ball. Ashland came with a slight blitz. They sent four guys after the quarterback. The offensive line did the great job, and everything worked out well.
10:53 to go in the first half. First and 10 for the Tigers. Jet sweep to the near side. That's Verdon. And Verdon up to the 35. So the Tigers trying to reach into their playbook and get Verdon more involved. And that's a nice carry on first down. Brings up 2nd and short.
And you heard the coaches up here yelling, Jet, Jet, Jet. And they must have practiced all week against this play here, because as soon as you see it, the players start yelling Jet, and everybody's flowing to the football.
So 2nd down and 1 play now for the Tigers. 2 receivers now to each side of the formation. They'll give it to Gross. He tries to turn the corner on the left side, and a nice job of pursuit to the football by the Arrows, and they dump him at about the 30. So a loss of about 3. And they are all over Avion Gross on that play. It'll be 3rd and 6.
When you have a star player all week long, that defense has been practicing against him, and when he gets that ball, you just fly to the ball as fast as you can.
Tigers trying to get win number 2 in a row after a big win last week against Lexington. Hill under a lot of pressure. And he's going to be deposited at about the 27-yard line. Nice defensive effort there by
Hill
Chase Blessing.
Under a lot of pressure.
And that'll make it a 4th and 8 as the line of scrimmage backs up to the 28-yard line.
And you got to hand it to that defense. They're shutting everything down. They're not giving them anything deep. They're playing an umbrella defense, keeping everything in front of them. And once Senior High makes a move, they're there.
So Hill's going to go back and kick it from about the 15-yard line. Metzger back to receive the kick for the Arrows. That's a nice kick by Hill to the 30.
Outstanding punt. But again,
go ahead.
The big thing here is Ashland's always got good field position. Every one of their drives have started in good position. They're not in the hole. They're out over the 40-yard line. And Senior High's, they're always in the hole. They can't get out. They can't work themselves out. Have they been over the 50-yard line yet tonight?
No, they have not. In fact, they have struggled to even get to their 40, and they've had a couple of big penalties. They had the turnover.
And you got to look at the clock. There's 8 minutes to go, but you're only down 6 points.
Well, you're reading my mind because that's exactly what I was going to say. Despite all of that, it's only a 6-0 ball game.
And it only takes one interception, one breakaway.
Roar to throw on first down. It's tipped, and it's caught, intercepted by the Tigers.
That's just
well, you
what
talk
we're
about
saying.
a break right there. Seth Miller comes away with the ball.
Roar to throw on first down.
You take a look at this. The ball was just tipped in the air. Jones comes away with it.
Intercepted by the Tigers.
Well, we talked about the
When
Tigers
you talk
field
about a
position.
break.
Now they have field position. 1st and 10 at the Ashland 48-yard line.
In that Tiger defense, they come up with a big play. Now we got to get this offense moving. You need to put together a few first downs. Even if you don't get into the end zone, you're still going to try to pin Ashland deep and rely on your defense to make the play.
You know, that Tiger blood in you is coming out. You're saying we.
Oh, boy. Yeah, and it does. It really does. You want to see this team mature and advance after what they did last year.
So new life for the Tigers. Can they take advantage of it? That's Verdon again. And he's going to be brought down at the 45-yard line, a gain of 3. Jacob Beverly comes up to make the stop. So they've been rotating between Brock Hill.
And if Senior High does anything here, you just want to get Ashland in the hole. You want to keep them at their end in the end zone.
Verdon again. He's got first down yardage down the far sideline and then some. Finally knocked out of bounds at about the 20-yard line, but Verdon gives them a little bit of a spark out of that backfield, and he's got the Tigers threatening in Ashland territory.
And did you notice the speed? If you have speed, you can overcome so many mistakes. And that's what Senior High is doing right now. They're utilizing their speed and getting to the outside.
Brock Hill now back at quarterback, 1st and 10 at the Arrow 21. Gross breaks a couple tackles, spins down inside the 15 to the 14.
And as we mentioned earlier, the score is only 6-0. Senior High's offense has been struggling, making a few mistakes, but here they are. knocking on the door.
Well, and it was because of their defense forcing the interception, and now they have an opportunity to get on the board here with 7 minutes to go in the half. Trips to the right. Hill stays in as the quarterback. Gross bounces to the outside, breaks a couple tackles inside the 10 as he's thrown out of bounds at about the 7. And that's going to be good enough for a first down. It's going to be 1st and goal for the Tigers.
And this is something we haven't seen from the Tigers all year long. Maintaining a drive, working it down the field, and running the football.
Trips to the right. Hill out of the shotgun. Stay on the ground. Actually, it was a fake handoff, and they're lucky they didn't turn the ball over there. Hill just gets back to the line of scrimmage, and he's a little slow to get up.
Yeah, Ashland, when you get close to the goal line, you got to make something happen. They bring an outside linebacker, try and make the big play, but give Senior High credit. They hung onto the ball and tried to get positive yardage out of it.
There you see Brock Hill struggling there to get back to the – yeah, they're going to have to – he's going to sit down there. He took a shot. I don't know if we get a replay of that, but as soon as he took off to the line of scrimmage, he got belted. Gonna try to get him off the field there. It looks like he's.
One thing we noticed is that when Ashland's defense was in the middle of the field against Senior High, they didn't do a lot of blitzing. Well, the closer you get to that goal line, now Ashland's got to pull something out, and here come these linebackers. And when you give a linebacker a full head of speed and they make a collision, somebody's going to feel it.
Brock Hill there on the sideline trying to walk it off.
And
he looks a lot more with it now than he did right when he came from the line of scrimmage.
And now you got to start thinking about, your quarterback's out of there, fumble. You got somebody going to receive the ball that has not been practicing doing this.
Well, Verdon's going to stay in as the quarterback, so he's been rotating with him here in the first half. And now he'll just go back and take the snap with 6:21 to go, and the Tigers threatening 2nd and goal from the 6. And Verdon's going to run it. And he dives. Does he get in? Yes, touchdown Tigers. So first play after Brock Hill is knocked out of the game, and the Tigers are on the board.
You can credit their defense for getting the ball for them, a short field, and they ran the ball. Senior High ran the ball. They used their speed. They got to the outside corners, made things happen. Now they have an opportunity to take the lead on a team that's undefeated.
Sean Putt on to attempt the extra point. Duke Reese will hold. High snap. Reese does a nice job getting it down. The extra point's blocked. So extra points have been an adventure here tonight at Community Stadium. We're tied at 6. 6:12 to go in the first half. This has been, when you look at the offense that Ashland has put up all season long, this is what Choke Bradley wants. He wants his defense to keep it close, the offense then to be able to capitalize after the turnover. That's what's going to keep them in this ball game.
And specialty teams, you got to take a look at the specialty teams. The punting teams, keeping the teams in the hole, 2 extra points, didn't go through. Anybody's ball game.
6:12 to go before halftime. Mansfield Senior, remember, they won the opening coin toss and they deferred, so they're going to have the ball to start the third quarter. So now it's up to the defense again to keep Ashland out of the end zone. And that would be a pretty good first half for Choke Bradley and his coaching staff if they can either keep them off the board or get the ball back and try to get some points before halftime.
One of the big things that everybody's talked about Senior High is they have a great defense. They're doing a great job. They're coming along. They're maturing. They're developing it as a unit. And they always were a little lax in their offense, especially their running game. Well, tonight we're starting to see things mesh together a little bit for them. They ran the ball down there. They didn't throw it. They didn't want to turn it over. And when you can control the ball on the ground, good things are going to happen for you.
So Butt will kick it off from the 40.
There's an old saying that goes, when you throw the ball, there's only one good thing that can happen. Everything else is bad. And the Tigers did a nice job keeping the ball on the ground.
Jonathan Metzger back to receive for the Arrows. It's a low line drive kick. Ball's on the ground, and who has it? It's going to stay with Ashland, and I tell you what, that would have been a great opportunity for the Tigers if they would have recovered that. As you take a look here, and he just could not get a grip on the ball. But fortunately, Ashland able to recover, and this is by far their worst field position of the night here, starting at the 24-yard line.
And we're going to see what Ashland has. They got 6 minutes to go. The game is tied. They kind of let Senior High out of the bag with that interception. Let's see if Ashland can put together a drive and get some points on the board before half.
1st and 10 from the 24. They stay on the ground to Hartley. He gets a couple. Coming up to make the play for Mansfield Senior was Zion Brown. And Ricky Mills there to help out as well.
And in negative yardage, Tiger defense is starting to step it up a little bit. See if they can get the ball back for the offense in good field position.
Both teams with a couple timeouts. Ashland with 3 receivers on the right side. Rohr swings it out. It's caught. And that's a nice run after the catch by Raymer. And he's going to have a first down right there in front of the Tiger bench. He's knocked out of bounds at about the 42-yard line.
Both teams with a couple timeouts. Ashland with
you talk about after the catch yardage gain. He must have had another 10 yards after he caught the ball.
Yeah, he caught it at the 30. Broke a couple tackles.
And that's a
Colton
nice
Johnson, on the reception.
Run after the catch by Raymer.
And he did not want to go down. Rohr again to the air. This one falls incomplete, intended for Metzger.
And Ashland's not holding anything back. They're going for the score here. Moving down the field, throwing the ball, doing what they do best.
5 receivers in the formation, 3 to the left. That's Hartley now coming into the backfield. Rohr swings it out. It's incomplete. He was trying to hit Jaden Jones. Pass rush there a little bit because of the pressure put on Rohr,
But Ashland's doing what they do best. They throw the ball, and then they'll come back with a run. They're in a situation where they need to cut this 3rd and 10 down, or they're going to end up punting.
Rohr straight back on 3rd and long. Throws underneath. It's caught by Hartley. Hartley with a first down, and he's out of bounds at the Mansfield Senior 44-yard line there. Hartley just coming across the middle. And he had a lot of time, did Declan Moore, and the Ashland Arrows have a fresh set of downs with 5 minutes to go before halftime. We're tied at 6. Brian Harder, Bruce Wywick from Community Stadium in Ashland. We've got a good one here, 6-6 in this OCC matchup in Week 4. Rohr back to throw. It's incomplete, and that one was dangerously close to Jaden Allen for the Tigers, and he had nothing but green grass in front of him, and that could have given the Tigers a lead.
Kind of threw the ball behind the receiver, couldn't get turned around to catch it. Senior High had a better option at catching it than the receiver.
2nd and 10 from the Tiger 44. Rohr fakes it to Hartley, and then he runs right into the arms of Avion Gross. So Gross with the tackle and a loss on the play of about 4 yards. Davion Gross just does everything for this Tiger team.
And when you have the speed like he has and the athletic ability, Senior High's defenses utilize him to the best they can.
3rd and 14. Roar going long, left side. It's caught by Hartley at the 20-yard line. Another first down for the Arrows, and they just do not push the panic button. Roar just drops back and drops a dime to Hartley. Perfectly placed ball.
Roar going long, left side. It's caught by Hartley at the 20-yard line. Another
at
first
the Mansfield senior 19-yard line. Hartley breaks a tackle at the line of scrimmage, then gets down to about the 10. He was drugged down by Seth Miller. But a gain of almost 9 on the play. We'll call it 2nd and 2, but and the Arrows now quickly back to the line of scrimmage. Hartley then stuffed behind the line. Nice penetration. See Ricky Mills in on the play along with Makai Bradley.
Senior High, they need a big play here. It's 3rd down. Stop them here. Force them into a 4th down situation. But then Ashland, no panic, doing what they do best.
3rd down and 3 from the Tiger 12. Roar, here comes the blitz. He's going to run it, and he's knocked out of bounds. Nice pressure. Amazion Robertson over there at the end of the play to force him out. It's going to be 1st and goal from the 8-yard line as he got just enough for the first down. You'll see this very often. Roar comes up under center. Turns, gives Hartley, touchdown Arrows. Ethan Hartley with his 2nd touchdown of the night.
What a classic Ashland run.
Very often. Roar comes up
took
under
it down
center.
the field, no panic. Scores tied 6-6.
But that was old school style. They actually came up under center, gave it to him as a tailback.
Ethan.
Same effect.
Yep.
8-yard touchdown run. Hartley with his 2nd of the game. They're going to try to kick the extra point.
You got to look at that offensive line. What a job they did.
Kick is up.
Good.
And it is good. So with 3 minutes to go before halftime, Ashland puts 7 more on the board. It's 13-6.
And what a nice drive by Ashland. There was no panic in them. You can look at the sidelines. Everybody's keeping their composure. The coaches aren't upset. Let's just do what we do best, move the ball down the field, 1 first down at a time. But the big pass was the big play, Brian. Took them out of the hole, put them in red zone. From there, they run the ball down. Offensive line did an outstanding job.
Mansfield Senior with 3 minutes to go before the half and 2 timeouts. Again, they'll start with the ball in the 3rd quarter.
And the one thing you got to remember, Senior High has speed, and it only takes 1 missed tackle for them to get in the open field, and it's going to be tough to run them down.
There you see a shot of Ashland University in the background. A beautiful night for football here in Ashland County.
And this is a beautiful facility they have here for a high school team.
I have always enjoyed doing games here. It's for a long time they shared this facility with Ashland University. Then Ashland built their own football stadium over on campus.
And when you put the turf in and you have the field house at the far end, everything here comes together. And we've done some nice football there. Northmore's got a tremendous field down there. Clear Fork's got a beautiful field. This one ranks right up there with the best of them.
Isaac Roop to kick it off. It's a Short kick again. They're staying away from Avion Gross. So the Tigers are going to benefit, and they're going to get the ball up across the 40 with 2:53 to go before halftime, and they're going to have pretty good field position.
And it's a tough run, though. You got 60 yards to go for the score. You got 2:53 on the clock. You got a couple timeouts in your pocket. The one thing you do not want to do right now is turn the ball over to Ashland.
So the Malachi Mays return gets them up to the 41-yard line. Mansfield Senior trailing by 7, 13-6.
In the Ashland defense, what are they going to be looking for? Well, they're going to drop back a little bit. You can see their secondary is loosened up a little bit. They're not going to let anything get behind them.
Good news for the Tigers. Brock Hill back behind center, swings it out. It's caught by Gross, but he is tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Bryce Ewing in on the play for the Arrows, and as you mentioned, they're everywhere Avion Gross is on the field.
And they run to him. As soon as he touches that ball, they are on him.
Loss of 2, 2nd down and 12.
And the thing that's impressing me is that they only have 3 down linemen. They are dropping 8 in the coverage.
Brock with the high snap. He's going to roll to his left. Sets, fires. It's tipped and falls incomplete. He was trying to hit Deshandre Hall. That one was close to being picked off.
And that's one thing Tigers cannot afford to do right now is have a turnover. In fact, I wouldn't even want to give Ashland the ball right here. Their offense is in a good groove. They've got momentum. They feel like they can move the ball on the Tigers right now. I would really not want Ashland to get the ball.
3rd down and 12 from the senior 39-yard line. Hill takes the snap, and again, the Tigers are going to look to go to the air. Actually, it may have been a quarterback draw as he goes right up the middle, gets close to the 48-yard line, still short of a 1st down. That looked like a designed run for Hill, excuse me.
And one of the biggest problems for defenses when you have a quarterback that can run the ball. As a defensive coordinator, that puts a lot of pressure on you. Now, not only do you got to stop these guys, you got to stop the quarterback.
4th down and 4.
Boy, the last thing you want to do is give Ashland the ball in this position if you don't make it on 4th down.
Well, I got a feeling they're going to let the clock wind down and call a timeout. Mansfield Senior still with 2 timeouts, and that is exactly what they do. They'll stop it with 1:20 to go.
Yeah, and right now, Chokey and the Tigers are still in this ball game. And the last thing you want to do is give Ashland the ball right now and have them score points just before half because you're still in the game. You have a young team. You're building on it. If you go in at halftime with down 13-6, you can build on that. You can really make something happen in the second half. But if Ashland gets the ball and they score, now you're working an uphill battle.
We've had a good half of football here between the Tigers and the Arrows. Coming up at halftime, you're going to enjoy one of the better high school marching bands in North Central Ohio, the Ashland Arrows. So they will be entertaining us at the half. 13-6 in favor of the Arrows, 1:20 to go before the intermission.
And, Brian, you just mentioned that band. That's one of the big things when I was coaching. You never got to see the bands. And then all at once when I got out of coaching, I started going to these games. You start watching them, you say, wow, you have a lot more respect for what those band directors go through. Ontario's band was awesome. Ashland has a tremendous band right here. Unbelievable, some of these halftime shows.
Of course, one of the downsides to the coronavirus, you only see one halftime band performance. Tigers at the line on 4th and 4, and there's a flag on the play, and it's going to go against Mansfield Senior. So if they had any designs of going for it on 4th down, that's going to change now.
And the coaching staff from senior high, the last thing they want to do is give Ashland the ball. So what do? You try and draw them off, and then you're going to drop back and punt the ball.
So Brock Hill's going to drop back and kick it with 1:20 to go. Nice kick. There's going to be no return by the Arrows. This is going to roll dead all the way down inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. So with 1:08 to go, the Arrows will get the ball back, and I would guess they'll probably be content to go into the locker room with a 13-6 lead.
And the Tiger defense has got to keep the ball at this end of the field. The worst thing they can do right now is let Ashland score and go into a little more momentum. And the Ashland staff, you got to think about them. What are they going to do here? Are they going to just run the clock out, or are they going to go for it?
Cheerleaders dressed for the weather tonight. It's a little chilly. It's in the upper 50s. Football weather. Declan Rohr out of the shotgun on 1st and 10 from the 9-yard line. They'll give it to Hartley. And Hartley's going to be brought down from behind by Tashandre Hall. Pickup of 4. And it looks like Ashland will just be content to run the clock out. They do not appear to be in the hurry to get back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, when you're this close to the Tiger end zone down here, you don't want to give the Tigers the ball. Work that clock, go in with the lead.
There's 15 seconds on the play clock and 33 seconds on the game clock. Rohr is going to run it. He's going to be dropped in the backfield. Nice play defensively by Ricky Mills, a freshman, one of the youngsters seeing action on this Mansfield senior roster. Tigers taking a timeout. Shoki Bradley's going to coach this all the way to the end before the intermission. And why not? You're deep in this end. Every time the ball is snapped, you never know what can happen.
And anymore with the shotgun formation, the quarterback sitting back there 6 yards away.
Yep.
He hits him in his hand, and like you said, it's a chilly night. Your hands are a little bit cold. You hit the ball wrong. Bad
a little
snap,
moisture in the air there a little bit.
And the ball squibs off, and you can come up with the ball. Choki's trying to give his defense every opportunity to make a big play. And I've seen it happen more than once. A team thinks they're going to have a nice little simple play here, and something goes wrong.
Well, it's 3rd and 11. The Tigers cannot stop the clock after this play. Rohr. They give it to Hartley. He breaks through the middle. He's going to get a first down up across the 20 to about the 23. Jaden Allen made the play for the Tigers.
He breaks through the middle.
And that'll stop the clock with 15 seconds to go as they move the chains. And they spot the ball. The clock is moving, and the Tigers are going to let this wind down, or the Arrows, are going to let the clock wind down, and that's going to be the final play of the first half. Ashland with a 13-6 lead as we head to the intermission. You're watching high school football live and free exclusively on the OH Report.
With over 35 years of building experience, Prestige Kitchen Creations is ready to create a breathtaking new kitchen for you to enjoy with friends and family. They make your vision a reality. Visit prestigekitchencreations.com today.
Need AC or heating repair service? Living in North Central Ohio, Shakely's is your go-to since 1995. Exceptional service, exceptional products. Look up shakeleysmechanical.com today.
Since 1974, Simonson has helped their clients stay on target to meet the goals and deadlines for their projects. From concept to completion, Simonson can design a plan and build a path for success. Let Simonson Construction turn that vision into a reality.
Why are all these people so happy? Because they just got their business online with TMS Plus digital marketing. No hype, just results. That's TMS Plus.
It's halftime here at Community Stadium where the Ashland Arrows with a 13-6 lead over the Tigers of Mansfield Senior. And this is a game that the Tigers coming into this, I think if they felt they could be in this position at halftime, they would be in very good shape heading into the second half.
And Chokey's Bradley, he's got to be happy with his Tigers going into halftime like this. He didn't even go in the locker room. They go over on the side, they talk about it. And they're staying with Ashland. Ashland's an undefeated team, and except for a few little breakdowns here and there, and one long pass that Ashland had to give them their last touchdown, Tigers are right in this ball game.
As we take a look at the halftime numbers, it's actually a little bit more balanced than I thought it would be. There you see, though, the discrepancy of passing the ball for Mansfield Senior versus running, and that has to be a good sign for Mansfield Senior being able to run for 79 yards in the first half, because that's something they haven't been able to do all season long.
Right, and when you take a look at their run game, if you can get the run game going, all that does is open up the passing game. Ashland's only putting 3 down linemen in, and they're sending everybody else to cover the field. So if Senior High can establish the run and make that linebacker come up and put 4 guys down, that opens up the secondary a little bit.
And we talked about the stats for Ashland, and they're almost dead even pass versus the run coming into tonight's game. There you see a little bit more of throwing the ball, 104 yards to 71 on the ground for the Arrows, 175 total yards. Each team had a turnover. It's been, though, really a mistake-free game on both sides of the ball, even though the Tigers with the 4 penalties, most of those were early.
Yeah, and, you have 2 defenses going at it. The defensive coordinators have done a great job in this ball game. They're keeping the ball game close now, and you take away a few mistakes here and there, both teams are playing very well. The one thing I like about Ashland is when they start to move the ball, you can actually feel a rhythm. And when they get that rhythm going, they're a very hard team to stop. And they'll throw the ball, run the ball, throw the ball, throw the ball, run the ball. They mix it up. But like you said, Brian, they're a very balanced team.
Their formations are very similar to the Scott Valentine's offense that we saw when he was the head coach here at Ashland. And I guess maybe the wrinkle, so to speak, we saw them come up to the line of scrimmage and run from under center on the second touchdown by Ethan Hartley. Was that just a change of pace? Was it something they're trying to catch the Tigers off guard?
Well, sometimes when you get into the red zone and you're ready to score, you have what you have. You have your goal line defenses, you have your goal line offenses. So why put a quarterback 6 yards deep, taking a long shotgun snap, possibility fumbling it? You get any penetration through the line, now you're in trouble. So what the Ashland staff did, they put in a goal line offense. You take the ball from the snap, from the center direct, and then you give it to your back. You're not losing any yardage.
I've really been impressed with the running of Ethan Hartley.
And he's done a great job. But, again, the offensive line is creating these alleys, and he's just working his way downfield. The blockers are keeping their blocks. And when you look at the replays and everything, they're blocking 10 yards downfield.
Take a look at some of the other scores from games here in North Central Ohio. A couple jump out at me. Shelby all over Gallion, 35-0 in the second quarter. The Tigers, I really thought would put up a little bit more of a fight against Shelby in this Week 4 matchup. Winford with a big 21-0 lead over Seneca East. Lucas winning big 28-0 at the intermission. Anything there? Lexington down 9-0 to West Holmes in the second quarter. Lexington playing a little bit better after that big loss last week at Arlen Field.
And when you think about West Holmes, I think about a scoring machine. They're putting 50-some points up a game. Lexington's defense must be doing a job down there. Lexington's big problem is their offense. They've got to get points on the board.
Look at that Northmore score, 7-6 at the halftime against Danville. We saw Northmore on consecutive weeks. They're a team that really likes to run the football, and last week they had a tough loss. They were ahead against Cardington, and they're in the ball game there at halftime, but I got a feeling they're going to try to run the football with Big Max Lauer there in the second half.
And we've seen him in a couple ball games, and he is a young man that's going to make a big splash in football as he gets better.
And a score there that may be a bit of a surprise in the OCC. Madison and Marion Harding scoreless in the second quarter.
And that's a good game for both those teams. You know, they're still struggling a little bit. Let's see if they can't get something done. Have a nice close ball game where coaches can go back and compliment what they did.
Other scores there, Crestview all over New London, 49-0 in the second quarter. Mount Gilead trailing Fredericktown 22-7 at the half. Winford over Seneca East 21-0 at the intermission. Lucas, it's funny we talk about that Lucas game. Do you know where Troy Christian is?
No.
It's up northeast of Cleveland. It's almost 2 hours. That's a long ride from Lucas to travel all the way up to Troy Christian to play in a game of high school football. I mean, that's a lot of travel on a Friday night.
When you're in an independent and then you're working your way into a conference and you're a good football team, it's tough to find opponents.
Mansfield Senior trying to come back from a 7-point deficit as we head to the third quarter here from Community Stadium. Mansfield Senior will get the ball to start the third quarter.
And that's what Senior High needs. They need a play right now. You know, this opening drive of the second half, it means a lot.
Opening kickoff is going to bounce into the end zone.
Boy, that was kind of a scary play, because if the ball would have bounced back this way and stayed in the field of play, that's anybody's ball. And Senior High kind of just let it drop there. And it was a lucky bounce for the Tigers. They're going to start at the 20-yard line. Let's see if they can't get a little momentum. One thing I like to do, Brian, is what adjustments did the coaches make at halftime? What adjustments did the coach make to the Tiger offense? And how about the defense? Any adjustments by Ashland?
Well, we also saw quarterback Brock Hill get shaken up in the first half. He is in the game as the quarterback to start the third quarter. Low snap. Hill quickly swings it out. It's on the ground. Or are they going to say it's complete? No, they're going to say it's complete to Amar Davis.
And that's a tough call. You know, sometimes you're shielded from the play, and you just got to take your best judgment call, and sometimes the officials get it right, sometimes they miss it.
2nd down and 6. Ball at the Tiger 24-yard line. Hill to throw. It's caught. And that's a first down. They go to the playmaker, Avion Gross, and he's got a first down. 2 quick passes to start the third quarter, and the Tigers are slowly marching their way upfield.
And Senior High's doing what they've done the first 3 ball games is throw the football efficiently.
That's a first down. They go to the playmaker, Avion
First and 10
Gross.
from the Mansfield Senior 37.
Ashland still rushing 3 players, sending everybody back in coverage.
See trips again there to the right. Hill, another low snap. He's got some room, going to try to turn the corner on the right side, gets up to the 42-yard line, that's about a 4 or 5 yard gain up across the 40.
Good choice by the quarterback. Nobody was open. Get as much yardage as you can. Don't take a loss. Don't throw the ball away. And he gained a couple yards.
Seeing a lot of low snaps going back to Brock Hill.
And that's, you have a new center in there.
2nd and 5 from the Tiger 42. There was a nice snap. Hill looked and quickly decided to take off, gets up to about the 45, still short of the first down. Tackle made defensively by Triton Schuster, a 6'1 senior.
You know, that center out there, I played center, and he's got his hands full. He's doing a snap, and he's got somebody on him. Ashland has a man on him, and he's kind of getting pushed around a little bit. Sometimes he doesn't think right, and the ball might be a little low.
Tigers with a big third down play here in the opening drive of the third quarter. Quickly, they swing it out. It's caught. That's another first down by Davis. In on the stop for the Arrows was Tommy Carpenter, number 4, along with number 21, Jonathan Metzger, a sophomore. But
one of the things that's happening now is Senior High's passing game starting to go, and those defensive backs, they respect the speed of senior high, and they're playing a little bit deeper than normal. That's why those short hooks are open.
So Hill is strong out of the quarterback position to start the third quarter. Another sweep. That one's going to go to Davis. And Davis tries to reverse his field, and that's usually not a good idea, and the Arrows make him pay.
And as we stated it before, Ashland's been practicing against that all week because as soon as the play starts to go that way and they run what they call the jet, they're all yelling jet and everybody flies to the football.
Not a good idea.
Chase Blessing there to do some damage defensively. It's now 2nd and 16, a loss of 6 on the play. Another low snap. Hill feels the pressure. He's going to take off and run. Gets down across the 45 to the 43.
As a defensive coordinator, you're sitting over there and you have a perfect play set up and the quarterback scrambles out of it. It just drives you up a wall.
Jacob Beverly in on the defensive play for the Arrows.
As a defensive coordinator, you got that play all covered. Everybody's doing the job, but the quarterback breaks containment, and he gets half the yardage he needs.
Brock Hill, the leading rusher for this team on the season heading into this game. Looks to throw on 3rd down. It's caught, and another first down, and he has found a rhythm by Amar Davis. He and Amar have connected here a couple of times in this drive, and the chains move again. And the Tigers, this was so far their best-looking drive offensively.
You just put first downs together. Just work for 10 yards at a time, work your way down the field. They're putting a lot of pressure on the cornerbacks from the Ashland team.
1st and 10 from the Arrow 35. Now a tight formation. They bring receivers into the left side. They stay on the ground. That's Gross. Does a nice job. Second effort gets him up to the 30-yard line.
And that's what senior high has to do. Run the play every now and then. Keep those linebackers thinking run, run, run. They pull up there. As a defensive coordinator for Ashland now, you got to stop this drive. And how do you do it? You start blitzing linebackers. Look for a blitz coming up here pretty soon, Brian, by one of these outside backers.
2nd and 5 from the Arrow 30. Hill pitches. That's Gross. And again, they stuff him at the 35-yard line. It is smelled out by Caden Schmitz.
And coaches practice that. That's a pursuit drill. They'll take the football in practice, throw it to the sideline, and all 11 players run there. And when that ball crosses the mid zone on the other side of the quarterback, that defense is flying to them.
3rd down and 7 now from the Arrow 32. Well, we saw the Tiger defense step up and play well in the first half. The Arrows defense needs to stiffen up here. A flag is down. The ball is thrown. It's caught. That's Hall with the reception. The flag, though, usually in the neighborhood of a hold.
And it's going to be a drive killer for the Tigers. It just happens on them. The official seems to be pointing that way.
Or do you take the result of the play and make it 4th down?
I don't see Chokey coming off the field with his offense. He's in a situation he's behind right now. He's been moving the ball. I think he's going to go for it here no matter what happens.
See if here's the call.
In high school ball, you have to have 7 players on the line of scrimmage. Somebody was sticking back. They didn't have enough players on the ball.
So it's now 3rd down and 12.
And the Tigers don't have to make it all up right here. You got 2 plays to get 12 yards. You need 6 here and 6 on the next one. And here come the linebackers.
Trips now to the right. Here they come. And Hill is going to be dumped behind the 40-yard line. Good call, Coach, on the defensive play there. They sent the blitz, and the Tigers could not get away from it.
And when you have a young offensive line, because everybody graduated,
Here they come.
they're going to have a tough time picking up the blitz. And Ashland doesn't do it a lot, but the defensive coordinator, perfect play.
A lot of the attention over the years when Scott Valentine was here was with the offense and the quarterback play especially, but they were always pretty sound defensively as well.
Defense is going to win championships for you, and they're going to take you into the playoffs. And Valentine won a few championships, and he made the playoffs.
Jonathan Metzger back to receive the kick for Ashland. And it is going to go into the end zone. So the Arrows defense steps up and forces a punt, and they'll get the ball back with 5:25 to go in the third quarter with a 13-6 lead. Tonight's high school football broadcast brought to you live and free on the OH Report thanks to our generous sponsors, Prestige Kitchen Creations. With over 35 years of building experience, Prestige Kitchen Creations is ready to create a breathtaking new kitchen for you to enjoy with friends and family. Visit PrestigeKitchenCreations.com today, and that's creations with a K.
And one of the things that's happening in this ballgame, Brian, is that the Tigers are still within striking distance. Ashland hasn't been able to deliver the strikeout punch.
Split backs now in the backfield. Hartley now swings out to the right of the formation, but the Arrows stay on the ground. And that's Jaden Jones with first down yardage. That's a nice play call in that part of the field, and the Arrows get a first down after a big pickup by Jones.
And when you look at it, there was a wall built by the receivers and that offensive line, and they're just moving senior high out of the way, creating an alley for those backs.
Part of the field,
ball all the way out to the 36-yard line. Roar hands it to Hartley. And Hartley with a hole in the near side. It gets up across the 49-yard line almost to midfield, and they seem to be favoring that right side of the defense, and their second big gain, and it's first down yardage up to midfield.
And if it works, why stop? And one thing that you've noticed, Brian, Ashland doesn't run a lot of different running plays, but the ones they do run, they do very well at.
First and 10, the Arrows at midfield. Hartley. There, the Tigers do a nice job of stuffing it up the middle. That's Leo Hess in on the stop.
And senior high defensive coordinator, he needs to have something happen, so he blitzed the linebacker. Perfect blitz for the play.
Actually lost a yard. They'll spot it at the 49-yard line. 4:36 to go in the third quarter. Arrows with a 13-6 lead as they look to go to 4-0 on the season, 3-0 in the OCC. That's Hartley in motion to the far side. Roar across the middle. This one's caught by Jones, and he's got first down yardage inside the 40 to the 39-yard line.
And that's a nice play, Brian. What they do, they clear out by sending a couple receivers deep. They bring this little back out of the backfield, and he just runs down the line there.
Across the middle. This one's caught by Jones,
tackle made by
he's got first down yardage inside the.
First and 10 at the Tiger 38. Hartley, they swing it to him on the near side. And he's got yardage inside the 30, close to a first down. I think he's going to be short.
And what you're starting to feel now, you're starting to see Ashland getting into a rhythm. And they're running an up-tempoed offense. They're not giving the defense a lot of time to think about what they're doing. And Ashland right now has momentum on their side, and they're moving the ball.
They spotted at the 31, so that'll make it 2nd and 3. Hartley again. Flag comes flying in as Hartley is down at the 29-yard line.
And usually when the official throws the ball in the middle of a line, There's a holding call.
Good call. It was a hold against Ashland.
And the one thing about Ashland, they run the type of offense that if it's 1st and 10, 2nd and 14, you're always in your base offense. You don't have to change. Back in the old days, you'd have a running, then you get in a long situation, you change offenses.
2nd and 13 now from the Tiger 41-yard line. They stay on the ground. It's Hartley. This time he attacks that left side and gets maybe 4 yards.
And again, they're just running their base offense. If you look on the sidelines, I don't think there's a person down there that's in a panic mode. The coaches are calm. They're just letting that offense create things and make it happen. And they're driving. They're just moving the sticks. They're in a 3rd and 9 situation. You want to get 5 or 6 yards here, make it feasible 4th down.
Rohr feels the pressure. That was tipped and almost intercepted. The last guy to have his hands on it was Jaden Allen. The intended receiver was Jonathan Metzger. So that'll bring up 4th and 9.
And it's a decision time for Ashland. One of the things I liked about Ashland, the last couple of times they've been in this situation, they brought their punter in, and he pins the Tigers deep in the end zone. And with the Tigers' offense kind of struggling right now, that might be the thing he does, punt them in the hole again.
Now we've got looks like one of the officials is actually kneeling on the near side. I don't know if he got hit or he's right in front of the 4th down marker.
Those guys are tough. He'll shake it off.
He's right in front of the Ashland bench. There, he's okay.
Brings up 4th down and 9 for the Arrows.
So 4th down, and then be interesting to see what Ashland does here with the ball at the 38-yard line. They're going to back up into punt formation. Looks like they're going to try to pin the Tigers deep.
The Tigers aren't sending anybody deep just in case it's a fake, and they go for it.
Roop is just shy of midfield. High snap, but Roop goes up and gets it. It's a short kick. I think it went off the side of his foot. Goes out of bounds, and they did not do the damage they wanted to do. The Tigers will get away with relatively good field position considering the circumstances. Brian Harder, Bruce Wyrick from Ashland High School. We've got a good one, 13-6. Ashland with 2:44 to go in the 3rd quarter. The Tigers of Mansfield Senior looking for win number 2 in a row. They got their first win of the season last week against Lexington. And Ashland has been on a roll. They are 3-0, 2-0 in the OCC, and they've got their hands full tonight against the Tigers.
And, you got to have that killer instinct. You got to get the ball. You got to have an offense that can move it down and kind of put senior high out of their misery early. And they haven't done that yet. The senior high defense has done a great job. Offense has got to get going.
So Brock Hill and the offense back. They give the ball to Gross. And he maybe gets a yard.
And
Jacob Beverly comes up to make the play.
And the one thing the Tigers have is they're one play away from a touchdown. Anytime one of these backs touch the ball, they have the speed and the ability to make it a touchdown. So your defense has always got to be on there. They always got to be on their toes, and they got to make something happen.
Rapidly moving 3rd quarter, 2:14 to go. Hill looks near side, has an open receiver, wide open as Miles Bradley. And Bradley inside the 20, and don't look now, but here come the Tigers.
And what a surprise that was. You know, you get your defensive backs playing up. If you got that
Hill
speed,
looks near side,
you
has
can do
an
everything
open
with it.
receiver wide
Bradley
open
with a
as
nice
Miles
job of getting
Bradley.
separation in the defensive
And Bradley
backfield, and the
inside
Tigers
the
with 2:03
20.
to go with an opportunity to get in the end zone. That was a nice throw by Brock Hill.
and the one thing they did, it was a little one-on-one situation. They found the one-on-one receiver and completed it.
They fake it. That's Hill. And he gets up to about the 12-yard line, tackled by Jonathan Metzger.
And this is a big drive for the Tigers right now. You're coming to the end of the third quarter. You like to have a little momentum going into the fourth. What better way than to score a touchdown?
Gain of 5, 2nd and 5 from the Arrow 12. Tamar Davis, the receiver on the left side. Tigers stay on the ground. That's Gross inside the 10 to about the 8-yard line. He'll still be about a yard shy of the first down. So that'll make it 3rd down and 1.
Senior High is moving the ball on the ground. Look for the Ashland defense to toughen it up a little bit.
Quickly back to the line. There's movement. I think Tigers got off to a fast start. And that's going to back the Tigers up 5 yards. They wanted to get back to the line of scrimmage quickly, and I think they got up there too quickly.
Looked like they got caught with a delay of game.
So instead of 3rd and short, it's 3rd and 6 from the 14. Clock now moving as we go under a minute to go in the third quarter. Hill feels the pressure, and he is dumped at the 25-yard line.
And we just got done talking about it. The Ashland defense needed to blitz somebody and make a big play, and they brought 2 outside linebackers that time.
Triton Schuster made the big play for the Arrows. You see he
Feels
grabs
the
a hold
pressure.
of Hill and just does not let him go.
And he is dumped at the 25-yard
So 4th
line.
and 14 now with 20 seconds to go.
Tigers have to throw the ball into the end zone. It's the only option they have here. They have to throw the ball into the end zone.
It's 5 seconds on the play clock. Then they got to get a timeout here with 6 seconds to go before the end of the third quarter. Tonight's game also being brought to you by Time Money Saver. Are you a small business that needs to get online with digital presence that will wow your customers? Try TMS Plus Digital Marketing, a new service provided by Town Money Saver. Visit tmsplus.com for more information. We have got a good one here at Community Stadium. The Arrows clinging, and I do mean clinging, to a 13-6 lead with 6 seconds to go in the third quarter. The Tigers, though, with a 4th and 14 on the Arrow 22-yard line. They had a penalty that backed them up and then a sack. And it'll be interesting to see how Chokey Bradley's Tigers respond here at the end of the third quarter.
Well, when you're in a 4th down situation, you have to get the first down, and because you're that close to the end zone, it's got to be a throw where the ball's going to go in the end zone. And you look for the interference call, you look for the reception, but Chokey has got to throw the ball into the end zone. Hail Mary play, send them to the receivers. Try to get the ball in your best receiver's hands, but he's got to get upfield.
Trips to the right. That's Davis, the receiver on the left side. Hill back to throw. Under pressure. And he just gets it off before he is sacked. And that is the final play of the third quarter. We head to the fourth. Ashland with a 13-6 lead. You're watching high school football live and free exclusively on the OH Report.
With over 35 years of building experience, Prestige Kitchen Creations is ready to create a breathtaking new kitchen for you to enjoy with friends and family. They make your vision a reality. Visit prestigekitchencreations.com today.
Need AC or heating repair service? Living in North Central Ohio, Shakely's is your go-to since 1995. Exceptional service, exceptional products. Look up shakeleysmechanical.com today.
Since 1974, Simonson has helped their clients stay on target to meet the goals and deadlines for their projects. From concept to completion, Simonson can design a plan and build a path for success. Let Simonson Construction turn that vision into a reality.
Why are all these people so happy? Because they just got their business online with TMS Plus Digital Marketing. No hype, just results. That's TMS Plus.
To 6 lead as we start the fourth quarter. The Arrows get the ball back.
And when you look at this game, Brian, you got a team that's undefeated. You got Senior High who's struggling on the year, but Senior High still hanging in there. And did Ashland overlook them a little bit? Did Ashland feel they're going to run them over a little bit? The longer you leave Senior High hanging in this ball game with the opportunity to win, they may make something happen.
2nd down and 7 from the Ashland 25. Rohr under pressure. And Rohr does a nice job of getting rid of the football to Jaden Jones. Amazion Robertson was in the backfield, but Rohr was able to avoid the pressure and deliver a completion. Or was it? Yeah, it was a
completion.
Makes it now 3rd down and 2 as they spot the ball at the 30. Rohr now comes back up under center. Gives it to Hartley, tries to bounce to the outside. He's going to have enough for the 1st down as he goes off the right side of that line.
One of the things that happened on that last play, they missed the tackle, but as a defensive coordinator, you send the play in, everybody executes it, everything worked, but you missed the tackle. And they get a big play on that. It kind of lets them out of the hole. Senior High defense has got to come up big pretty soon.
1st and 10 Arrows at their own 33-yard line. And we have a whistle, and it's going to be a false start against Ashland.
That's going to push them back another 5 yards.
10 minutes, 53 seconds to go. On Gross, but another big chunk of real estate on the ground by Ethan Hartley. He's starting to wear down this Tiger defense.
And if you notice, nobody touched him till he got 30 yards downfield. That offensive line starting to take over the line of scrimmage, creating seams. And if Ashland can control the clock and run the ball, it's going to be a tough game for the Tigers.
Arrows now in Tiger territory at the 45. Rohr sets, fires, it's caught. That's McFrederick with his first catch of the night.
And the one thing you really got to respect about this Ashland team, here they made a big play running the ball. You don't want to turn over, but what do? They come right back and throw the ball. That's the confidence these coaches have in this offense.
Chains move and a fresh set of downs for the Arrows at the Tiger 34. Go back with now that split backs in the backfield. And Hartley dropped behind the line of scrimmage. Robertson in there to blow up the play for Chokey Bradley.
2-yard loss on the play brings up second down and 12. The Arrows ball we spotted on the Mansfield 36-yard line.
The Ashland team's in no rush, taking their time, making sure they get the correct play for the situation. And the way they've been running the ball, it's hard to tell what they're going to do.
Ashland staying on the ground. Again, that's Jones trying to get around the right side. And there was a lot going on in that play, and the result was they just get back to the original line of scrimmage.
But what it does, it forces the Tigers to defend the run. Now it opens up a passing lane for them.
3rd and 10.
Little play action play.
Trips now to the left side. Roar out of the shotgun on 3rd and long. Looks, has a wide open receiver, and he overthrows him.
That was a nice play by the Arrows. They call that the wheel route. They get everybody running on the sidelines, running down to the post,
3rd and
drops
long.
the ball.
Declan Roar would love to have this one back.
Looks, has a
Pass a little
wide
behind
open
the receiver.
receiver, and he overthrows him.
But if he'd have caught him in
That
stride, that was
nice
6.
play by the Arrows.
And this could be the play of the game, 4th down. Can the Tigers hold?
Roar alone in the backfield. Two seconds on the play clock, and they're going to have to get a timeout. Yep, they have to waste a timeout. The Arrows now with 2. We'll take a break as well. Ashland 13, Mansfield Senior 6. You're watching high school football live and free exclusively on the OH Report.
With over 35 years of building experience, Prestige Kitchen Creations is ready to create a breathtaking new kitchen for you to enjoy with friends and family. They make your vision a reality. Visit prestigekitchencreations.com today.
Need AC or heating repair service? Living in North Central Ohio, Shakely's is your go-to since 1995. Exceptional service, exceptional products. Look up shakeleysmechanical.com today.
10 from the 34-yard line, and a punting situation for the Ashland Arrows. Angled to the near side. It's going to bounce and take a Tiger roll and be down at about 13-yard line. So Mansfield Senior will get the ball back.
And Ashland feels very confident in their punt game. That punter does a great job. He spreads the ball out. No returns on it. Got a high ball up in the end. And he has the Tigers pinned inside the 20-yard line. Inside the 15.
So let's see what the Tiger offense does now with the ball back, trailing by 7, 8.5 minutes to go. Each team with 2 timeouts. Here comes Brock Hill and the Tiger offense. And a reverse. And this is Bearden trying to get out of bounds, or actually forced out of bounds, trying to turn the corner on the near side. And Ashland actually did a pretty good job of stuffing that play out.
That's a well-disciplined defense.
Trying to get out of
Flo tried to go to the right side, then they bring the ball back with one of their skilled players. Ashland stayed right in their positions and made the play.
Gain of a couple, 2nd down and 8. Low snap again. Hill scoops it up off the ground. Hill looks, and a receiver comes back for the ball, and a first down as a connection made with Miles Bradley. So Bradley did a nice job of bailing his quarterback out.
That's exactly right. Your quarterback scrambles. All good receivers are told, run back to the quarterback. When your quarterback's in trouble, you break off your route and run right back to him. That's what they did. Nice completion.
First and 10 for the Tigers at the 39-yard line. Hill able to keep the play alive, and ball swung out. This one caught by Gross, and again, Gross not able to do anything after the catch.
And that's just practice. All week long, Ashland's probably practice. Hey, when number 13's out here, they're going to throw the ball to him, get up on him fast, and that's what they're doing. They're running to the ball.
Colin Rohr led the way for Ashland's defense as we approach 7 minutes to go. Tigers trailing by 7 with a second down and 14 from their 35-yard line.
They don't need all 14 yards here. They just got to make a feasible third down play.
Two receivers on each side of the formation. That's Gross in motion. And Gross caught and then deposited at the 35-yard line.
And boy, is that nice defense. Those linebackers are flowing to the ball right now. When flow goes in one direction, those linebackers are running to the ball.
That's what you call a defensive stick.
That's a pursuit drill. That's how you get to the ball.
There's the young man who made the play right there, Chase Dillow.
Big play for the Tigers.
3rd and 12. Hill looking near side, has Bradley, it's caught at the 40, and he's got a first down inside the 30-yard line. Again, Miles Bradley with a big play for the Tigers.
And if you ask me, it looks like the Tigers are picking on that side of their Ashland defense. That's twice they've completed that ball, and that's nothing but a big fade route. The receiver runs as close to the sidelines as you can, and you just throw the ball up for him to grab it.
Bradley over to the sideline. How was that, Dad? 1st and 10 from the Ashland 32-yard line. The Tigers now with new life. Hill looks left side. It's caught again by Bradley, and he steps out of bounds.
Tigers are trying to play up-tempo ball. They've got Ashland on their heels. See if we can't catch them off guard here, and the Tigers are doing it.
That's a long throw, too, from this side of the field all the way over. And Bradley catches it, and it's 1st and 10 at the 12. Hill looks, and it's incomplete. Threw the ball a little quicker, I think, than he wanted to. The timing just wasn't there to Amar Davis.
Once you get close to that goal line, the Ashland defense is going to start blitzing. They blitzed an outside linebacker that time. Quarterback felt the pressure, threw it a little bit early.
5 minutes, 49 seconds to go. Tigers down by 7. Trying to mount a comeback here in week 4.
And that's the last thing Ashland needed, to jump off sides and give the Tigers 5 yards without the clock moving.
Well, I bet Chokey Bradley would actually like for this clock to start moving a little bit. He does not want to put this Ashland offense back on the field.
Yeah, and Chokey, his defense has been playing well, but they've been on the field a long time.
So it's now 2nd and 5 from the 7. That's Fearden, and he had nowhere to go, and that allowed the defense to catch up to him. And a penalty now.
And I'll tell you what the penalty was. The coach tried to get a timeout. He couldn't get the timeout. He goes running out on the field, and words were mentioned back and forth, and I think the official threw the flag on. It could be a sideline.
Nowhere to go, and that allowed.
Fearden had really nowhere to go. There's Sean Cedar, the head coach of the Ashland Arrows, and took over this team. And last year they got off to kind of a slow start, but then they rebounded and finished 4-6.
Looked like it was just a sideline warning on the coach, telling the coach, you got to stay in your coach's box. You can't come on the field.
5-yard loss on the play brings up third down.
Jokey Bradley gets a little animated on the sidelines.
For the Tigers. Ball will be spotted on the Ashland 12-yard line.
So the Tigers with a 3rd and 10 from the Ashland 12. As the officials are going to call a timeout with 5:40 to go.
Looks like they could still be debating if there was yardage to mark off on the last play or not.
Rest of our sponsors tonight's ball game: Shakely Mechanical, providing quality plumbing, heating, and cooling services to Ashland, Mansfield, and surrounding areas for over 25 years. For more information, visit ShakelyMechanical.com today. And by Simonson Construction. Since 1974, Simonson has helped their clients stay on target to meet the goals and deadlines for their projects. From concept to completion, Simonson can design a plan and build a path for success. Let Simonson Construction turn that vision into reality. Brian Harder, Bruce Wyrick from Ashland High School, and this has been an outstanding matchup here in Week 4. Mansfield Senior getting their first win of the season last week, but they look like they have really found something here, especially defensively, as they have held the Ashland Arrows to 13 points, and they trail 13-6 with 5:40 to go, but they've got the ball 3rd and 10 from the Arrow 11-yard line.
Tigers need 10 yards to keep the play alive. Jokey Bradley knows he's got 2 plays to make it.
Brock Hill out of the shotgun. Hill looks into the end zone. It's going to be incomplete as he tried to go to the playmaker, Avion Gross.
And I'll tell you, it was a perfect play call. He was open and went right through his hands.
Laid it up there just
zone. It's
where
going
Gross
to be
was the only one who could get
as he
to
tried
it.
to go
Jace
to
Dillow
the
back
playmaker.
on coverage.
And
So it's now 4th down and 8.
And this could be the play of the game, Brian, right here.
Fourth and 8. Hill rolling to his right, looks into the end zone. It's incomplete. He was trying to go to Bradley, and the Tigers turn it over on downs, and the Arrow defense, Bruce, does an outstanding job there on 2 straight plays to deny the Tigers the end zone.
Yeah, and it was an outstanding job by the defense. And anytime you throw the ball into the end zone twice and you can stop them, pat yourself on the back. But the Tigers did what they could. They were getting pressure, so what do you do to get away from pressure? You roll out a little bit. Quarterback breaks the pocket, but he just kept coming and coming. And the more he runs through the sideline, the less field there is, and that packed the defense in. And after a while, he just had to throw the ball into a crowd.
Well, the Tigers are going to need their defense to step up now. The Arrows have it 1st and 10 at their own 11. Rohr hands it to Hartley. And Hartley up to about the 19-yard line.
One of the big things that hurts a team is when your offense doesn't get the ball in the end zone like they tried to here, and the defense has to come back and play defense again, there's always a little bit of a letdown. And if Ashland's going to make a break or have a big play, this is probably where it's going to happen, early in this drive. But again, their Tiger defense has been keeping this game close.
Rohr back now under center. Gives it to Hartley. Hartley's going to be close, but there's a flag down. And this may be a hold against Ashland. And that is the call.
and it looked like the official signaled that he wrapped it around his legs and tackled the block or the defensive player. And that's a 10-yard penalty, and that's going to hurt.
Well, the Tigers do have playmakers that can create turnovers, and this is an end of the field where Sean Cedar wants to get the Arrows a little closer to midfield. You're in dangerous territory here.
Yeah, you don't want to give the Tigers any opportunity to score on a short field.
2nd and 11 from the 9. Hartley came over in motion. Now they're waiting for the final call to come in. Roar's going to keep it. Gets up across the 20, and he's got first down yardage all the way to the 22.
We were in the second quarter.
Going to get an update here. Northmore trailing Danville in the fourth quarter. They've got another close ball game, does Northmore, as Danville with a 2-point lead in the fourth.
Rushing and a touchdown.
And back here at Ashland, the Arrows with a 13-6 lead over Mansfield Senior. They got the ball 1st and 10 at their 22-yard line.
A little bit of clock management that last drive.
The clock is working against the Tigers right now.
Swinging out. This one's caught by Jones, and a short gain to the, about the 24-yard line.
The one thing Arrows want to do now is take as much time off that clock as possible. You have 25 seconds to have the play. Start watching that quarterback taking more and more time to get the snap.
3:46 to go. 2nd down and 8 from the 24. There are advantages to not having our producer in a truck. I'll leave it at that.
And Ashland's called for holding again. It's going to move them back another 10 yards.
This is a huge penalty for the Arrows as they're trying to put this game away.
And you don't know if the Arrows penalties are keeping them in the hole or the Tiger defense.
Now, having said that, this has been an offense all game long and really all season long. Down and distance really doesn't mean a whole lot.
No, they have that type of offense that 1st and 10, 1st and 5, 1st and 20, they're going to run their same base offense.
And this is out of 1st and 17. Hartley with nowhere to go.
Nice job by the Tiger linebacker stepping up, filling the hole, making the big play. The problem Tigers have now is the clock's moving. We're at about 3 minutes. Clock's still rolling.
Hartley now with 22 carries, 134 yards. Ashland in no hurry to get this play off. 2:47 to go. Roar, sets, fires, caught. That's at the 30. Still on his feet across the 35 to the 40, and a first down. A big reception by Tommy Carpenter. That's a huge play. We talk about the lack of fear of down and distance. The Arrows put it on display right there. 1st and 10 Ashland.
Caught.
And yards after the catch.
At the 30.
The young man kept his balance. He got hit a couple times.
Across the 35 to the 40 and a
big
first
6'2",
down.
190-pound target is Tommy Carpenter. And it's a first down at the Arrow 44-yard line. Declan Roar just cool as a cucumber back there and delivered a strike to Carpenter. It's Hartley. And he may have lost a yard on that play.
And Chokey Bradley's got to start stopping the clock. He used the timeout here. There's 2:14 on the clock. His defense has got to come up big here. And their defense has come up big all season long.
Mansfield Senior trying to come back. They trail by 7 with 2:14 to go. And they're going to need their defense to step up here. As you said, they've got one timeout remaining. And with the Arrows, that first down it could be the backbreaker for Mansfield Senior if Ashland goes on to win this game.
Correct. And if Ashland gets another first down, it's almost it's over for them. So the Tigers have got to make the play here. It's second down. You got to make a stop on second. Chilkey will make another timeout. Try to force them into a punting situation.
There's Sean Cedar, and he's earning his paycheck tonight.
Every nickel of it.
2nd and 11 from the Ashland 43. That's Hartley in motion. They stay on the ground. Nice misdirection to Jaden Jones. Jones up close to midfield. And the final timeout is going to be taken by Chokey Bradley. Make sure to catch the Saturday Pigskin Show live tomorrow at 5 o'clock, exclusively on the OH Report Facebook and YouTube channels, where Brian Skoronsky, Eric Will, Kirk Conrad, they all recap the action from Friday nights throughout North Central Ohio with top plays, outstanding performances, insider analysis, highlights, and more. The OH Report is your new headquarters for live and free high school sports broadcasts in North Central Ohio, bringing fans live streams on Facebook, YouTube, and now Twitch for football, soccer, and volleyball throughout the fall. Okay, I'm old. I did not know what Twitch was.
One thing that looks good here is that as Ashland's running the ball carrier, he's surrounded by offensive linemen downfield, maintaining their blocks and getting that extra yard for your backs. And that's probably the difference in the ball game right now, the offensive line of Ashland versus the young offensive line from senior high.
You also saw a break into that Danville and Northmore game. Northmore still trailing by 2. That's Hartley in motion to the near side. They stay on the ground, though, again. That's Jones, and again a hole, and Jones off to the races. And Jones dives to the pylon. Does he get in? No. They're going to say he is down at the 1 yard, or out of bounds at the 1 yard line. Jaden Jones.
And again a hole,
and there's a flag in the backfield.
Off to the races.
Another hold penalty.
And Jones dives to the pylon.
That play's coming all the way back, and they're tracking another 10 yards going the other way.
A 50-yard run by Jaden Jones. It's coming back.
Nullified by a hold penalty.
Now, even though that's exciting and you don't want to see that play taken off the scoreboard, if you're Sean Cedar, that really doesn't hurt you, though. You still have the ball.
Yeah, you still have the ball. It's third down, but you're still giving hope to the Tigers.
Right.
You need to get that killer instinct and kind of put them away so that they can't. Even if the Tigers do score, you're still up, and that's what that was. That was a backbreaker for the Tigers, but the holding penalty gives new light to the Tigers.
And that's not the first penalty committed by the Arrows in this second half, and they've allowed the Tigers to hang around.
And the clock's not going to start until the snap. If the Tigers can get a stop here, you're going to force them to punt the ball, and you're going to get the ball back, Brian. You're going to get the ball back with time on the clock.
3rd and 13 from the 41. The last time they were in a situation like this, Tommy Carpenter came up with a big catch, and let's see what Sean Cedar and the offensive staff for the Arrows come up with here on 3rd and long. 1:56 to go. Again, this time it's Hartley, and Hartley gets up to up to about the 47-yard line.
It's this time
so
it's
6
Hartley.
yards on the carry by Hartley.
And there's an injured player, which stops the clock. I don't know what's happening, but everything that's happened the last couple of plays has been in favor of the Tigers. They have a penalty. It nullifies a 50-yard run. Now you're moving the ball. The clock would have kept running, but because of the injured player, the clock stops.
Gives us a chance to peek in on that Northmore-Danville game. Northmore still trailing by 2. That is a game that I believe Effie James is
Sturgeon, Northmore almost
over
got
on the
in there
call
for the
tonight.
block. And it is fielded
along with
just
Andy
outside
Jardy.
the 25.
There you see the injured arrow trotting
And
off
they
the
are going to
field.
throw
That
the
is
flag for a
Jalen
late
Colbert.
hit there. Trenton Ramos. That was close, Effie.
That is
And we're in a situation where it's fourth down. The Tigers are going to touch the football again on offense, Brian.
Kind of the momentum.
But they have no timeouts left.
You know, it's just a tough call.
And that is a big problem right now. No way to stop the clock once you get it.
Avion Gross back to receive the kick.
The Ashland punter's been doing a great job of punting away. The clock started. He's going to let it wind all the way down. Tigers will get the ball with about 1:10 on the clock.
I'm going to guess they'll spend a timeout, so that means the Tigers will get the ball back with about 1:08 to go with no timeouts.
And this is where the Tigers have the speed on the field to make something happen. And what's going to happen now, that you're going to see the Ashland defense, they're going to jump into a big umbrella. They're going to keep everything in front of them. Nothing gets behind us. We're going to force everything into the middle. We don't want them going out of bounds, so we're going to try and keep them in bounds to keep the clock going. The Tigers, they have the speed. They have the ability to make something happen here, Brian.
Well, and you got one of your playmakers, Avion Gross, back to receive the punt. He has a kickoff return for a touchdown this year. He does not have a punt return. Most teams kick away from him.
And Ashland, the punter, has done a great job tonight, except for the one that he had off the side of his foot, but that was a high snap, kind of knocked his timing off. And right now, everything's got to click. You got to have a perfect snap. You got to have the punter's got to get it in his hands. He's got to get it off, no rush, and then you got to cover downfield.
Roop will kick it from about the 35, and Gross will receive at about the 15. Roop with a low kick, and Gross lets it go. It's going to roll dead at about the 11-yard line, so 89 yards stand between Mansfield Senior and the end zone. They're down by 7 with 1:08 to go.
And if you're looking for a specialty team, player of the game, you got to look at this punt team. They've kept the Tigers in the whole night with their punt game. And you have one of the best punt returners in the area back there, and you keep kicking away from him. They've never given him the opportunity to get the ball and see what he could do.
So Brock Hill will bring the offense out for the Tigers. And they've got their work cut out for them. No timeouts, 89 yards to go. They swing it to Bradley on the far side. He's out of bounds, close to a first down at the 22, and he gets it.
One of the things all coaches do is run a 2-minute drill, and that's what the Tigers are in now. 2-minute drill.
Actually, that was Gross who made the reception. They look for Gross again. It's caught out of bounds. It's going to be pitch and catch between Brock Hill and Avion Gross as the Tigers try to inch their way up the field. 57 seconds to go. It's 2nd down and 5.
And here we are, Brian, with 57 seconds to go, as you said, and this is still anybody's ball game. They're going to reset the clock to 1 minute.
2nd down and 4.
It'll be 2nd down and 4 for the Tigers. Ball gets spotted on the Mansfield 28-yard line.
Hill back to throw, looking. It's caught by Gross, and he gets out of bounds just shy of midfield. You just get the ball into the hands of your playmaker, and Gross has 3 receptions on this drive, and the Tigers just shy of midfield at the 47.
And they're picking on that one side, and Ashland actually has two defenders on him. Now they drop to a single coverage on him.
Hill again, back to throw. That time they take Gross out of the equation, and Hill forced to throw it out of bounds.
And that's a smart move by the quarterback. You know, you get a little maturity back there. He knows he doesn't want to get sacked. He's got to throw the ball away to stop the clock, and that's what he did.
Well, the defender who was on Gross on the far side of the field did a nice job of jamming him to the sideline, and Gross really had nowhere to go. 2nd and 10, 50 seconds to go. Hill with some time, fires. It's incomplete. He was trying to hit Bradley on a crossing pattern.
Again, the quarterback did a nice job. He waited. The offensive line's giving him time to look over the field.
It's actually Amar Davis who was the intended receiver. Clock now at 44 seconds. 3rd down and 10 from the 47.
Ashland's playing this umbrella defense. They have 2 defensive backs 20 yards deep, keeping everything in front of them.
Hill lofts it up right side. This one's going to be, it's almost picked off. I'll tell you what, Chase Dillow would love to have that play back. It was right in his breadbasket. Hill just lofts it up.
Right
it almost
side.
Looked like he lost it in the lights for a second. Didn't know where the ball was.
Off. I'll tell you what.
So here's the game for the Tigers. 4th and 10 from their 47 with 37 seconds to go. Can the Arrows hold it for one more play?
I think they're going to throw the ball to 13. See if Avion can make something happen for the Tigers.
Well, the last couple of snaps, they've done a good job of taking Avion Gross out of the play. He's lined up wide to the left. Here's the game for the Tigers. And it's incomplete, and that is going to be it. Intended for Miles Bradley. It was a low throw.
Left.
And the Tigers now unable to stop the clock as they turn it over on downs with 32 seconds to go.
And it's incomplete.
And Ashland did a nice job blitzing the linebacker in that situation to put a little pressure on the quarterback. Quarterback actually did a nice job. He stepped up into the pocket, surveyed the field, threw the ball a little bit low. I look for the victory formation to come out, take a knee, let the clock run. But you got to hand it to them. Tigers played well tonight. Ashland, I expected a little bit more from their offense, but the Tiger defense did the job.
Yep. Ethan Hartley, 24 carries, 140 yards. He will be our player of the game.
Yeah. And I think one of the biggest problems the Ashland Arrows had tonight were penalties, holding penalties. They nullified like 3 drives.
No scoring in the second half of this ball game. Hartley with 2 rushing touchdowns in the first half. And it was 13-6 at the intermission, and it's going to be 13-6 as the clock winds down. There's Ethan Hartley, a nice job.
But I tell you, look at the sportsmanship out there. Every one of those Ashland players goes over and is patting those players on the field, on the hats, telling them a nice job. And it was a well-played game, Brian. Well-played game tonight.
Ashland with a 13-6 win over Mansfield Senior. We'll come back and wrap it up after this. You're watching high school football live and free exclusively on the OH Report.
With over 35 years of building experience, Prestige Kitchen Creations is ready to create a breathtaking new kitchen for you to enjoy with friends and family. They make your vision a reality. Visit prestigekitchencreations.com today.
Need AC or heating repair service? Living in North Central Ohio, Shakely's is your go-to since 1995. Exceptional service, exceptional products. Look up shakeleysmechanical.com today.
Since 1974, Simonson has helped their clients stay on target to meet the goals and deadlines for their projects. From concept to completion, Simonson can design a plan and build a path for success. Let Simonson Construction turn that vision into a reality.
Why are all these people so happy? Because they just got their business online with TMS Plus digital marketing. No hype, just results. That's TMS Plus.
Shakely Mechanical, fully qualified to help you select the best HVAC or plumbing system to fit your budget. Need AC or heating repair service? Living in North Central Ohio, Shakely's is your go-to since 1995. Exceptional service, exceptional products. Look up shakeleysmechanical.com today.
With over 35 years of building experience, Prestige Kitchen Creations is ready to create a breathtaking new kitchen for you to enjoy with friends and family. They make your vision a reality. Visit prestigekitchencreations.com today.
Since 1974, Simonson has helped their clients stay on target to meet the goals and deadlines for their projects. From concept to completion, Simonson can design a plan and build a path for success. Let Simonson Construction turn that vision into a reality.
Why are all these people so happy? Because they just got their business online with TMS Plus digital marketing. Get online with essential digital marketing services for local businesses. And feel like they do. No hype, just results. That's TMS Plus.
Congratulations again to Ethan Hartley, the senior running back from Ashland High School, our player of the game. 24 carries, 140 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And he was really a difference maker in this game, and he allowed them to get a lot of balance as they tried to run and throw. And again, congratulations to Ethan, our player of the game. As we take a look at the final numbers, we didn't see a whole lot of offense really in the second half, all the scoring especially done in the first half, but big numbers put up total. 330 yards for the Tigers, 343 yards for the Ashland, and if you're Chokey Bradley, if you see that kind of offense, you want to see more point production.
Yeah, you're moving the ball, you're doing everything you have to do, but there's a zone down there called the red zone. And when you get in the red zone, defense pack it in. You just got to get over that hump.
Now, we talked about the balance for Ashland coming into this game, and it was almost yard for yard, and that plays out exactly tonight. 173 yards rushing, 170 yards passing for 343 yards of total offense. We saw some penalties there in the second half that Sean Cedar really, I think, wants to clean up as the season progresses.
Yeah, there were 3 holding penalties almost in a row, and then that nullified a whole drive. And the biggest play of the night, 50-yard run, was nullified by a holding call, Brian, and it brought it back. But I'll tell you what, they are a well-balanced team. And when you have senior leaders like our player of the game, they're going to go deep into the playoffs, I hope.
I really like what this Ashland team does, not only running the football, but they still have enough of that throwing offense, and they spread the ball around. It's really hard to key on them when you're a defense, but Mansfield Senior actually did a pretty good job all night long of doing that.
When you hold a team of Ashland's caliber to 13 points and you block an extra point and you force them to punt, you're doing a good job. And as we mentioned earlier, Brian, everybody's in the playoffs. And the Tigers have nothing to be ashamed of tonight, and they're going to be in the playoffs. And if they keep maturing and getting better and better and keep improving, they make something happen in the playoffs here.
Now, when you're a coach, and especially when you have a team like Mansfield Senior that has struggled through the first 3 weeks, and then you come into this game and you play this well and you come up short, how does that leave? What kind of taste does that leave in your mouth when you're in the locker room after it's over?
You don't sleep at night as coaches. You think, man, if only we had this play, that play, we would have done this differently. You start to review everything. But they have a young team. They got a good coaching staff. They will build on this game. They're going to go in there and say, hey, we played against the number 1 team in the conference. They're undefeated. We were with them into the last minute of the ball game. We had the opportunity to win. So Chokey's going to take this team. He's going to build on what they did tonight, and they're just going to keep getting better and better.
And some of the adjustments that they made, especially with that very young offensive line that they're rebuilding, they moved Brock Hill out. They brought Virden in as a backup quarterback, and they got some different things with him. So the future, while it may not be what it was last year in 2019 when you go all the way to the state finals, they're still going to be able to build on a night like tonight.
As you mentioned earlier, they're going to start drawing who's in what districts and all that stuff for the playoffs. And if senior high keeps improving as they up to this point, I would be kind of scared to play them in the first round of the playoffs.
Well, especially because of that defense, it's going to keep them in ball games, and if they can get the offense to do just enough, and especially when you have a playmaker like an Avion Gross, somebody that you saw in that last drive there, they were able to get him the ball on 3 straight throws. If that defense can continue to play the way it does, they're going to be a dangerous draw in the postseason.
Yeah, I'd kind of stay away from them. You know, anytime you can put speed on the field and you have 2 or 3 people that are faster than anybody on your team, anything can happen. And one slant pass, one deep pass, and we saw that tonight. They hit a couple fade routes on Ashland, and they made it tough for Ashland tonight.
Let's take a look now at some of the other final scores from around the area. Buckeye Central with a big win over Bucyrus, 54-10. Ontario, 41-14 over Clear Fork. The Colts are 0-4.
Boy, when was the last time the Colt Corral was 0-4 there, Brian? You know, I was a head coach. I played against Dan Sparks and his Clear Fork Colts, and I was 0-10 against them. We took them into overtime a couple times, but they always played Ontario tough, and They got a great coaching staff down there, and they're going to get things worked out. And the Colts are still a dangerous team. Anything can happen, but Chris Miller's got the Warriors playing at a high level right now.
Shelby gets a big win over Galleon, 42-6. Cardington, we saw them last week. They're trailing East Knox in the fourth quarter, 26-18. There you see the Mansfield senior score. Fredericktown with a close win over Mount Gilead. South Central, you're trailing in the fourth quarter to Mapleton, 44-20. And Lexington losing against West Holmes, 16-0.
Yeah, Lexington's having trouble getting points on the board with their off. I think they've been shut out, 3 games this year? And they're struggling a little bit with that. But their defense must have played well. East Knox, or West Holmes, they've been putting points on the board right and left. And look what they did to senior high the first week. 56 points, I think they put up there. So the Lexington defense must be doing something.
Madison hangs close, but they lose again, 14-7 at Marion Harding, and Lucas stays undefeated. They win 42-0.
Lucas, they're playing every game away, and look, all they're doing is putting points on the board and getting shutouts.
Well, with the win here tonight, Ashland is now 4-0. They're 3-0 in the OCC, and Mansfield Senior drops to 1-3. They are 1-2 in the OCC. The final score tonight: Ashland 13, Mansfield Senior 6. Our thanks to tonight's broadcast team. Our producer was Adam Thompson, and the fine camera work courtesy of Jory Skoronsky, Nick Jacobs, and Mason Neese. Our stats provided by John Davis. But most of all, our thanks to you for joining us. Once again, the final score: Ashland 13, Mansfield Senior 6. You've been watching high school football live and free on the OH Report, powered by BS Media Productions. Thanks again to our generous sponsors for making all of this possible. Keep it locked into the OH Report, your new home for live sports coverage in North Central Ohio and beyond. For Bruce Wyrick, I'm Brian Harder. So long from Ashland.